We are looking at week 13, so this is your assessment week for Unit 6. So there's going to be two things for you to do. Just like all assessment weeks, you're going to have a project that you're going to complete and you're going to have an MCQ test. So they will both open on, what day is it? Let's see. They open November 3rd, right? So Monday morning. You have until midnight November 9th, which is Sunday, to get both of these done. All right, so again, make sure you're not late on these because the 10% penalty on your assessments definitely hurts your grade. So for the multiple choice, you'll just open that up, go through each question, submit it. For the project, we're going to talk about that really quick. So there is a planning guide. If you click on this link, you can open the planning guide. You are expected to complete every step on this planning guide. All right, so don't skip any steps. So you're going to submit your final app. You're also going to submit this completed planning guide. All right, so there's a couple rules and requirements for this. First, at most, I don't want you to code more than 75 lines. All right, we're at the point where some students start getting really creative and tricky with what they're trying to do. My suggestion to all of you is to keep this as simple as you can. All right, you should be able to code this app in about 25 lines at most. So try to stick to that, right? I'm limiting you to 75, so if you want to do something fun, you can. But if you're trying to go way above and beyond and you got 100 lines of code, which I see sometimes, you're doing too much. Right, and you're probably honestly going to lose points because some things are going to be incorrect. All right, so Unit 6 had to do with lists, loops, and traversals, so it also introduced the Dataset tab in code.org. So for this one, you're going to have to use one dataset from the code.org library. All right, so if we're looking at code.org, let me go to your class. All right, just going to give you a quick reminder on how we do this. So for this one, you are going to be using lesson 13. I know it says Project Hackathon, but we're not doing a hackathon. We're just using this for you to submit your app. So you're going to go, I would go to level 2, right? This is the level where you can run and submit your project. So you're going to code everything in here. And what you're going to notice is that you have the dataset tab. So you have all of these different data sets, right? So whatever topic you choose based on the requirements that I'm going to go through, you can choose the data set, right? You can also search data sets up here. So maybe I'm going to do a soccer app. I'm going to do, FIFA World Cup results. So I would click on the import button, right? And then I see that my app has loaded my data set. I can click on the name of the data set and look at all the different columns that are available to me. Right? And this is going to be important for your planning guide because you need to know what your data set is called and you need to know which columns you're going to use. All right, so we need to have one data set from the code.org library. You're going to have to create two variables for this. One of them must be a list that you create using the get column. All right, so if you remember on the code tab, we have the data tab where you can use get column. So you're going to have to create a variable, use get column to create a list for that using the appropriate table that you chose and the column that you chose. All right. You do need a second variable that can be a number, a string, a boolean, a list. It does not matter, right? You just need two variables. One has to be a list using get column. The other one can be a list that you create. It can be another get column. It can be a number, a string, a boolean. Doesn't matter. You have to use at least one on event. You need one if else statement, right? This if else statement has to be in a function that you define, not in your on event, right? We need to make sure that your logic is showing in your function and not the on event, because we're working towards a specific pattern in this class that'll get you through the AP exam, your midterms, your finals. So you need the logic to be inside your function, right? So make sure that this if else statement is in the function that you write, not in your on event. In this if else statement, you need two conditional statements, right? Those are the Boolean expressions that use either and or logical operators, right? So these conditional statements, these Boolean expressions, they have to be part of your if else if statement that are inside of your function. Right? So then you need to define at least one function and you have to call it at least twice. So we're looking for that update screen pattern. Also, inside your function, right, not your on event, but your function, you need one loop where you traverse the list that you created for this part, right? One of your variables is going to have a list, so you need a loop inside of your function where you are traversing that list, right? When you traverse the list, you must use one of the patterns that we talked about in Unit 6. So you have the single filter pattern, you have the multi-list filter pattern, you have the list reduce pattern. You are going to choose one of those and traverse the list that you created, right? You have to have at least 3 different outputs for the user. So if you're thinking about this logically, you're going to write a function. Inside that function is going to be a for loop where you traverse the list to filter it somehow using one of these patterns. Once that loop is done and you've filtered that list, you're going to have an if else statement that has at least 2 conditional statements in it so that you can produce at least 3 outputs. Right. Beyond that, you just need to make sure that you comment your code, right? So make sure that you consistently comment for your variables, your on events, and your functions. Make sure you have a clear and easy to use interface, and make sure that your code is free of errors or warnings, right? So you'll just work through each step in this planning guide. So you'll tell me what data set, what columns you're using. You're going to choose which filter pattern you're going to use, so tell me which one, explain why you chose that one. You're going to do your mock-ups. For your app design, you only need one screen. All right, and then you're going to start building out your tables to tell me what you have. So on your screen, for each element that you add, I need to know the ID that you named it, the type of element it is, and then briefly describe what it does. You're going to do the same for your variables, for your conditionals, for your loops, for your on events, and for your functions. Right? At that point, you just need to, build out your design, so your screen, and then build your app. All right? Again, you are doing all of this on Lesson 13, Level 2 in Unit 6. Right? So when you're done, you're just going to run and submit. When you're done with this, you will say File, Download, PDF, so that you can make a copy of it. And then when you submit your assignment on code.org, you don't need to submit the app. As long as you submit it in code.org, I have access to it. But in Canvas, when you submit this, you're going to upload that PDF that you just downloaded and then submit that project. All right, there is a rubric. You can find it at the end of the planning guide. So if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see this is the rubric criteria. So you got to have a data set, variables, on events. Each one is worth 4 points. And it's kind of broken up into needs improvement, approaching competence, or competent. Right? So need improvement means that you're earning a 0 if you didn't do it at all, or a 1 if you did it completely wrong. Approaching competence gets you a 2 or 3 for that item, meaning you're close, but it's not perfect yet. Competent means you did it correctly and you get all 4 points, right? So the total for this is 40 points. So again, make sure you do your multiple choice, make sure you do your project, which includes your planning guide and your code on code.org, and then get everything submitted by Sunday at midnight.